good morning, good morning. It's another beautiful Thursday morning right here in Kingston, Jamaica, and it is May 28th. And of course, if you don't know, now you will know, it is Menstrual Hygiene Day. And as a part of Menstrual Hygiene Day, what we try to do is to tell you different things that you can do to make periods a lot less difficult, to make it flow a lot easier, and to just make it so less stressful. Because listen, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and our girls every time they have their periods, right? So first of all, I have a nice group of fantastic ladies with me here today, and we're going to be talking about our period story. We're going to tell our period story, and we want you to tell your period story. And of course, you know there are gifts in it for all of you when you share. But before we get into the gifts of it all, I really have to take this opportunity to say welcome and big ups to our sponsor, Curves Jamaica, because they are in the business of making sure that every girl and woman has the menstrual products that they need in order to have a healthy, happy, pain-free period. Yes, I said pain-free periods. We're going to get into that. It's a whole day of activities going on here on the live, and we're just going to start this morning with these awesome ladies. I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to introduce to you some people who are going to tell you their business. They're going to tell you what goes on in their lives when it comes to their period, because we are normalizing conversations about periods today. I probably should start with my own period story, but I'll save that for last, so you have to tune in for that. But right now, we want to start with Miss TamiAnn Young. Now, Tammy is going to tell us a period story. You ready? Brace yourself, because we're going to learn a little bit more about her. Tammy?
How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here among yourself and all the other women, and especially as a mother of two girls, it's important that we're having this conversation. So this is just beautiful. My period story, I don't know if it's so dramatic. However, one thing for sure is that when growing up, I recognized that I would have longer periods than most of my friends. So like everybody kind of goes zoops in, zoops out, and then good to go. And then they're like, yeah, my period is done. I'm like, mine is still going. And not only is it still going, it is going very rough and heavy like any river. So all my life, and it's funny because now since I've really been getting more in tune to recognizing your own menstrual health is important, that kind of thing, I'm actually going to be doing a little bit more checking up, because I was talking to my friend, actually Dr. Daryl Daly, who you'll be speaking to later, and I was telling him a little bit about some of the stuff I was experiencing, and he encouraged me to get checked up, as to why. But heavy flows, definitely throughout my entire high school years, I'm highly anemic, and so would have to be on, and supplements and that kind of thing, and very lethargic, constantly tired during my period. So the cramping was rough for our first couple of years, and then I think it just kind of was okay, like I could manage it, not crazy. But I remember my mother telling me when I was being prepared for my period that just expect to be going through so much drama, because for her it was horrible. My great-grandfather was a doctor, and he literally had to treat her during her period. She could not go to school for a couple of days. It was really sad for her, but gladly I never had that level of intensity at all. It was just the norm in my head, or I don't know what the norm is. Probably that's a conversation for us. We tend to create our own norms. It's normal, so you work with it and you just get painkillers, or you just have to keep moving because period not to stop you. But to this day, my biggest issue, concern, or my reality is the flow. The flow is very heavy, and I have a period lasting over 7 days sometimes, dependent. So there's this trickle couple days, then woof, then stop, then trickle again couple days, and then we're out of here. What I've also found is a lot ahead of my period, I would have headaches, and I started to recognize that, pretty later into my teenage years, that okay, my period precedes. I have a headache to precede my actual period. Some people have other issues, and I definitely have a headache. Right. And then of course the salt and sweet. My often I eat during is the salt and the sweet. The salt and the sweet. Wanted to eat something very salty, wanted to have something very sweet. Yeah, and I don't know. You flopped me the other day when I tell you that I've just lived on very heavy, using like overnight sanitary napkins, that kind of thing. You're my period, thinking that that's the best thing, but again, that's something else you might want to talk about, because in my head, that security of my flow is really to make sure that I have something to hold me, because when my pipe turn on, it turneth on. So that pretty much has been my period story in reality. And now I have my 13-year-old who started her period last year, and now we're both perioding together. And I think one of the other things that I recall was this whole concept of clock, like when it is that you and your girlfriends are on period, you have similar period. I remember those things being fun to talk about and discuss, but I know it's not fun for everybody.
Right.
But for me, yeah, pretty much that has been my thing. Heavy, long, annoying, but yeah, few headaches here and there, lethargic, but that pretty much has been it. That's how I believe.
Well, first of all, I can relate to everything that you just spoke about just now, but just understand that you don't have to suffer through all of that. Heavy, long, anemia, those are symptoms, and all of those things can be corrected. So I really do hope you tune in for the rest of the day, because we're going to be talking about what you can do to have healthier periods. I'm coming from 11 days, very heavy, very painful periods myself, and I'm down to 2 days completely pain-free now. So this is something that I know for sure is absolutely possible. Yes, my dear, I stopped feeling pain completely, and my periods start on Thursday. By Saturday morning, I'm good to go. Somebody said that's not a period, that's a comma. But
that sounds like a comma to me, actually. You're very right.
But we can do something.
I also remembered recalling, I think younger, I had ovarian cysts, and of late I've been feeling the pain that I felt then. I remember having cysts, they never had to be taken out, they would burst on their own. That also provided a lot of discomfort for me. And funnily enough, just of late, the past 2 years, I've identified that has been happening to me. So that's probably something I need to look into.
Well, you see, so that is something that you can look into. But like I said, for the rest of Menstrual Hygiene Day, through the other lives that we're going to be doing, we're going to talk about what you can do to have healthier, less